I woke up again last night after hearing the same haunting noise that has plagued me since my early childhood. This time, however, is the first time I've heard it during my adult life. When I was younger, I called the noise sideways static, but now I don't give it a name, as I'm trying to forget that this exists. When I was 6 or so, my family was killed in a fatal car accident. I was the only survivor. My only memory of the incident is seeing some men in uniforms rescue me from the horrific mess, which was once my family car. The weird thing that always haunted me about the incident was the men who rescued me were not cops or paramedics. Instead, these men were more like secret government units of some kind. However, I always just figured that it was my childish imagination making wild ideas about being rescued by secret agents, which was always a childhood interest of mine. The other weird thing about it is hearing the sideways static. I was distant but there. It has been following me off and on ever since. Since my parents died, I stayed with my grandmother until she passed as well, when I was about 20. She left me her house and all of her possessions, seeing that neither of us had anyone else. I lived a normal adolescence, suburban life for the most part, except for one thing. Every 3 to 4 years, I would hear a faint sound outside my house like a man crawling or walking slowly outside my window, and a faint sound eerily like static. I felt it was almost saying something to me, but I couldn't tell what. I told my grandmother, but she, and I too after a while, took it as childish nonsense. We lived together throughout the rest of her days in peace with little other disturbances in our life. Today, I had a visitor come to the door who nearly shocked me to death. It was a man wearing the secret agent suits. The same secret agent suit from the night my parents had died. He told me that he was watching me for a while and that it was time for us to leave. I felt myself unable to resist. Before we left, I set up cameras in my room, garage, and kitchen. After staying in the hotel for a night, he explained to me that his organization had been watching me for a long time. He and his comrades were part of an organization that watched out for the children who lost their parents. He also told me about how a creature had crossed from another dimension of space and time to try to capture me for causing something that altered the timelines between both my world and its own. He then explained that it had crossed over many times, but wouldn't take me because I was under my grandmother's care. But now that she had passed, I'm free for the taking. After returning home, I immediately checked the cameras to see if the creature had made it into my home. What I heard and saw on the cameras scared the life out of me. The video recorded the static noise getting louder and louder until I heard a voice in the static say, "I killed them. I killed my family. Mother, father, I'm sorry. I will catch him. I will make him pay for what he has done." The voice was almost like a normal person, except it was paired with a dark, raspier voice. All of a sudden, my doors bursted off the hinge. A man with half of his face ripped off crawled into my house and began to beat loudly on the floor. He tore at his flesh and shouted in pain as he ran through my house looking for the person who had destroyed his life. I continued to watch as the mangled body walked through my kitchen to fall to the ground crying, sobbing, and shout out the words again and again. In a strange way, I felt a frightening connection between myself and the creature. It was like seeing someone after years of last meeting. I felt a profound sadness and fear as I watched the wretched being crawl around and sob as if everything it loved was destroyed in front of it. The static was unbearably loud as the creature writhed on the floor in a horrifying manner. After nearly 20 minutes of this, a few secret agent men broke through my front door and caught the body and put the body in a bag and carried it outside. My secret agent guardian was standing at the doorway when I walked out of the room. I looked at him in horror and desperate need for answers. The only words I managed to utter out was, "What was that?" "You," he said. I couldn't believe it. I felt connection with the sad soul because it was me. I was angry at myself for killing my parents all of those years ago. It was then when I realized my guardian agent was actually my guardian angel who would save me after I caused my parents to die. My parents died because instead of paying attention to the road, they were trying to soothe their 6-year-old son with a bellyache. This led them to skid off the road and wrap the telephone pole like a Christmas present. I began to recall the image of the wreck, the car on fire, my parents dying slowly from the heat, and the bright lights of some car approaching to grab me out of the flaming car. My guilt was unbearable after hearing this. I felt my whole world turn upside down as deafening static blocked all of my senses. I felt myself ripping at my skin and my hair, and I felt no pain. I began to uncontrollably move my lips in words that were seared into my mind.
I killed them.
Hey guys, we are a new YouTube channel called The Sculptor. We have a lot of plans for the future. We're going to be a creepypasta / scary true story channel, so please leave comments of what you think, like, subscribe, and feel free to post in true scary stories and creepypastas. Alright, thanks so much guys, and don't forget, hit that like button and subscribe. Alright, see you guys.